My name, which in many ways is the namesake of my tradition, a name passed down 3 generations, from father to son, and then to me. The sharp R sound like the revved engine of a parked car that just wakes you up, pulls you in, and seems to say, look at me, I stand out. My name, 1 word, 8 letters, that were there long before I was born and will be there after I'm gone. A result of a father too stubborn. When my mother suggested naming me Diego, my dad told her, you can call him whatever you want, but to me, he'll be Fernando. And so it stuck. Whether because of some cultural tradition, from some baby book, or from the heart, whether it was your grandparents, parents, or siblings that named you, however your name came to be, it matters. Culture matters. Being proud of your heritage and not letting it be forgotten matters. And for immigrants venturing off into a new world, so too do names matter. Every day, people from all over the world leave behind their home country in search of a better life. They flee political prosecution, violence, or aiming to get better jobs. In particular, for me and my family, it was about getting access to better jobs, opportunities, and education. As immigrants, you're faced with challenges that you wouldn't face otherwise. For starters, you go from being like everybody else to suddenly standing out. At the same time, you're forced to contend with the stereotypes that just wouldn't make sense in your home country. When I first arrived in California, I was amazed at the different stereotypes about what it meant to be a Mexican. They were not very good at school, they had limited job opportunities, and were mostly expected to work in manual labor. But that didn't make sense to me, you know? I knew Mexicans that were lawyers, Mexicans that were politicians, teachers, doctors. I knew some really rich Mexicans, and I knew some really poor Mexicans. But more than anything else, I knew regular people. People that, frankly, were quite similar to the individuals that I was starting to meet in my new home. This is just the tip of the iceberg on the issues that immigrants face. It could be about the way you dress, the way you talk, the things you eat. It can be about the stereotypes. It can be about the names. And these are all things that, as immigrants, make you stand out. And in that moment, arriving in your new home, you're faced with a decision. You can either change yourself to fit into your new society, or you can try to change society to fit you. Imagine you're going to the Starbucks and you've been meaning to try out that new latte or something. You're waiting in line, and you might be noticing where all the coffee is sourced from, or that guy by the side window that is eating really messily and is honestly grossing you out. When you get called up to the counter, the barista asks for your name, and you freeze for a second. Now, if your name was Blake or Denise, you might have already been on your way. You don't have to worry about being called Balakle or D-Nice. But when your name is Maitri or Aditya, you're subconsciously aware of the fact that when they call out a name that sounds even remotely similar to yours, it might be your order. And so immigrants will change their names. Harjeet becomes Harry, Ednan becomes Eddie, Aditya becomes Adi, and then even then you might get called Ali or Audi like the car company. For others, like Chinese immigrants, it's quite common to have both a Chinese and an English name, like when Ma Yun became Jack Ma. What's crazy is that once you make that switch, it's very hard for people to know that your name's actually a pseudonym. As you build a history as Sally, Simone gets relegated to your passport and driver's license. That is a Starbucks name. But, okay, look, I know that baristas are frankly quite busy, and it might seem like I'm blowing out this issue out of proportion. It's really not that big of an issue if once or twice your name gets miscalled, miswritten. In fact, the reason that Starbucks names exist in the first place is because we're all collectively too lazy to correct each other's on that morning coffee run. And in many ways, that's valid. The issue is when it doesn't stop there. When you don't correct your bosses or your coworkers, when you let your friends give you that bad nickname or make fun of your name, Starbucks names show that there is a larger trend of forced cultural assimilation. Studies by Stanford University, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, as well as the Paris School of Economics, have all shown that individuals with foreign-sounding names have a harder time finding jobs and housing. Having a unique name can also open the door for racism, bigotry, and discrimination, while closing the door on opportunity. But to my immigrant brothers and sisters, I tell you, there is another way. You don't need to hide behind some other name, some other identity. Together, we can carve out a place for each other in this jigsaw that we call society. Do we really want to boil down, reduce the world to Jims, Joes, Tims, Alices, leaving behind the culturally rich and significant names in favor of monosyllabic sound bites? No. Fight instead. Correct others when it matters, but also blend in when you need to. For me in particular, as long as I feel like the person is making a genuine effort, it's usually okay. Now, of course, there's other cases, like, for example, at graduation or at other ceremonies, moments you're going to remember for the rest of your life. And in those moments, it's important that people get it right. Don't let society choose for you. Assimilate by choice, not by necessity. The beautiful thing about immigration is the blending of cultures. But just because we're a mixing pot doesn't mean we need to boil it down to just one flavor. There's value to be had in the actual mixing, in selecting the best qualities of your culture and leaving behind things that have since then lost value. As immigrants, we'll always be faced with this tension between tradition and cultural assimilation. It's frankly a tension that we'll continue to have. Unfortunately, it's far too easy to just let conformity win. Don't let it. Fernando Sepúlveda Sagaceta. My name. I've heard it's unique. I've heard it's beautiful. I love it and I own it. My name is a conversation piece, and I love having that conversation. Thank you.